What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to today's edition of Free Tool Friday. My name is Tyler S. Clark, the host of the Proactive Accountants community and the co-founder of Dream Firms. We have a really important topic to cover today, and that topic is the number one mistake that tax professionals are making during tax season. The biggest problem. And no, that problem has nothing to do with the quality of your work. It has nothing to do with even how you're potentially pricing your services. No, those are not the problems. The problem has to do with always respecting and appreciating your most precious resource, which is your time. And when I say your time during tax season, we need to understand that there's an incredibly limited supply of that time, and that seconds add up into minutes, minutes add up into hours. So anytime we can preserve your time through efficiencies, we have to do that. And so when it comes to filing tax returns, I know we can talk about commoditization and all those other things, but it's still a task that needs to be done on a large scale for a large number of firms. However, I find that there is one inefficiency that plagues most firms that can easily be solved with just a simple tweak to your processes. And it is this: you should not touch a return. You should not begin filling out any sort of information until you have 100% of the necessary documents or information to complete that return from start to finish before the review process needs to happen. It's as simple as that. So much productivity is wasted in this space because start a return, right? Now we're at this. I don't know that I need to call the client, ping them back and forth. Client's like, what? Annoyed, right? Bad experience. Doesn't need to happen. I know clients don't always give you 100% of the information, but the point is you need 100% of the information before you do your job. If you start to do the job and then you need to go back and request additional information, it's start and stop additional. It's not as efficient as it needs to be. And what does that do? One, it directly impacts your profitability. You end up working, instead of maybe 40 hours, you end up working maybe 50 hours because of small inefficiencies like that one. And that to me is the easiest one that we can quickly see, quickly identify and say, what's the checklist that we need to have in place for the vast majority of the clients that we have coming in? Maybe I won't say panacea, but a checklist that is almost all encompassing for our average tax client. How do we make sure we have that in place? And how do we make sure that we check the documents, or someone, ideally not the owner of the firm, someone is responsible for going through and checking to make sure all documents are in and all information is in our possession to do our job at the highest level possible, to deliver a fantastic experience. And if it's not the case, if we are missing things, okay, well, it will be clear, right? Like, we're missing this. Why would we start the process over here? We cannot start the process of actually completing the work until all of this is in. That is just the rule of that is just a rule. Like, there's no exceptions to that rule. There's no reason for there to be an exception to that rule. And so if we're similar in saying like someone else is checking this as opposed to the owner of the firm, this is delegation and leverage. This is literally winning back your time to focus on higher level activities like dream client acquisition. So we're now saying, okay, well, someone is looking at that list and saying, wait a minute, Tim is missing his, we're missing his W-2, right? Something very simple. We're missing that. Oh, well, I need to call Tim and I need to get that piece of information so that therefore we can move the process along, because there's a stopgap and we have to make sure that that happens before it goes any further. Now, I know that might sound basic for a lot of people who are listening to this, but for a lot of other people who are listening to this, they don't have that in place. So they go, well, that's obvious, but then they allow it to happen. And then they go, oh, well, I don't have any time to work on client acquisition right now. I don't have any time to build my dream firm because I have all of these things I need to focus on. And I go, first of all, you got to buy your time back. And when you go to buy your time back, you need to make sure that you have the processes in place so that you can train that person to do what you need to be done so you can be hyper efficient in the fulfillment of your firm, because you can't allow yourself to get trapped inside of tax season for any reason. And I'll share with you something my coach shared with me last night. And I think that this is an important lesson for everyone here as well. Essentially, your clients want the result that you provide. Okay? Accurate, timely tax filing. And of course, there's a lot more that you can offer, but specifically inside of the tax filing realm. That's what they want. But that result should be independent of you. Now that's requires a little bit of a different way of thinking, but that to me is the way in which you have to think to build a business that works for you instead of traps you inside of it. If so much is falling onto your shoulders and you find yourself working 60 to 80 hours a week, when you know you could win back your time with small process improvements and efficiencies and a little bit of delegation and leverage, what would you do with that extra time, right? Like, how much happier would you be? How much more likely would you be to land a client that really appreciates you and have your dream firm as opposed to the firm you kind of just happen to have right now? Little things stack up into big things. And I ask you to just analyze the way in which your tax filing process works right now. And and just ask yourself, do I ever touch a return and need to go back and find additional information or ping my client and call them to be able to get that information? If the answer is yes, there's clearly something that is wrong or broken in your process right now. And that's not terrible. All it is a reflection of the truth. And then you say, oh, wait a minute. That's the issue. We are not asking this on the checklist, or someone's not checking this checklist before they pass it along to the next part to ensure we have 100% of it. Oh, interesting. Well, all I have to do is implement that, solve that problem. Hands off, right? Like, wow, I can't believe how much more efficient we are, how much better our profits were. Where did that come from? Oh yeah, we just implemented that little thing at the start or even in the middle of tax season. And all of a sudden we have all this extra time, or we're this much more efficient. Our clients are that much happier. Little things stack up into big things. So again, just to be clear, the number one mistake that we see for tax preparers during tax season is not having a process that forces there to be all the information required in order to complete the return as efficiently as possible. Don't touch the return until you have everything you need to be able to do the return from start to finish. So I hope you enjoyed today's Free Tool Friday. Keeping them short and sweet in honor of tax season. I will see each and every single one of you next week. Remember, only you can make your dream firm a reality, but we help you every step of the way. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all next week.